Hello, children. Welcome to Jatin Academy. In this chapter, we will learn how natural resources like air, water, and energy are very important for our life and how we should conserve them. So let's begin learning. School vacations are always very enjoyable for Bhumi and Surya. This time, during the holidays, they go to their Aji's house, grandmother's house. Aji's house is in a village near the forests of the Western Ghats. The air here is very clean and cool, much better than in the city. All around, they can see green hills, small rivers, and many kinds of plants, animals, and birds. Bhumi and Surya really like this place. One afternoon, Bhumi and Surya ask Aji why this place is so special. Aji smiles and says that this place is full of nature's treasures. The air here is clean, the soil is fertile, and there is plenty of sunlight. Trees and plants provide food and shelter to animals, birds, and insects. Aji asks the children if they can think of more treasures of nature. Bhumi says that we use water for drinking and growing vegetables. Aji happily says that she is absolutely right. All these natural resources make our life easier. If these treasures of nature did not exist, life on Earth would not be possible. We are all a part of nature, and our life completely depends on nature. Now, Aji tells the children that today they will learn about air. One morning, Bhumi and Surya see Aji doing breathing exercises. Aji asks them to sit with her. She explains that by taking deep breaths, more fresh air goes into our lungs, and we remain healthy. Bhumi and Surya also start taking deep breaths with Aji. When we try to hold our breath, we start feeling uncomfortable very quickly. This happens because air contains oxygen. Our body needs oxygen to do every kind of work. If the body does not get oxygen, it cannot function properly. That is why we can survive only for a few minutes without oxygen. This is the reason oxygen is very important for our survival, and almost all living beings need it. Aji then explains that the air around us is a mixture of different gases. It contains nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and some other gases. Among these, oxygen helps us to breathe, and nitrogen is present in the largest amount. We cannot see air, but we can feel its presence. When the leaves of trees move, clothes flutter in the air, or paper moves when a fan is switched on, we know that air is present. When air moves, it is called wind. Sometimes the wind blows very fast, like during a storm, and sometimes it blows very gently, which is called a breeze. Bhumi and Surya remember that they have often played with paper pinwheels. When the wind blows, or when we blow air on it, the pinwheel starts rotating. All this happens because of wind. Aji further explains that a windmill works in a similar way. Wind rotates the blades of a windmill. Windmills are used for grinding grains, drawing water from wells, and generating electricity. In our country, India, there are many windmill farms where many windmills together produce electricity. This is a good source of clean energy. In the end, Aji reminds the children that just like air is very important for us, water is also very precious. When we feel thirsty and do not get water, we feel very uncomfortable. Therefore, we should understand the value of both air and water and always take care of nature. Now, in the next story, we will learn more about water.
Bhumi and Surya help Aji in her daily work. One day, they fill water for the cows with Aji. Then, they water the vegetables and medicinal plants in the garden. Aji teaches them that water should be poured slowly into plants so that every drop is useful and no water is wasted. Aji asks the children where else we use water. Bhumi and Surya think and say that we use water for drinking, cooking food, bathing, washing hands and face, washing clothes, and cleaning the house. Aji explains that water is also needed a lot in fields to grow crops and in factories. Water is a very important part of our daily life. Now Aji asks the children where we get water from. She explains that most of the earth's surface is covered with water, but the water in seas and oceans is salty, which we cannot drink and cannot use for farming. The water that we need is called fresh water. Fresh water is found in the form of ice and glaciers in some places, in rivers and lakes, and also underground. Underground water and frozen water are not easily available. The small amount of fresh water that we get from rivers, ponds, lakes, and wells is what we use every day. That is why Ajji says that water is very precious. Ajji asks the children to think about whether we are using water properly every day. Have we ever noticed water being wasted? For example, leaving the tap open, taking very long showers, or letting water run while brushing teeth. These are small habits, but they waste a lot of water. Ajji explains that if we are a little careful, we can save water. We should keep the tap closed while washing hands, use only the required amount of water while washing clothes and utensils, use less water while bathing, and water plants wisely. In this way, we can take care of this priceless treasure of nature. Bhumi and Surya understand that life is not possible without water. Therefore, we should understand the value of water and try to save it every day. From the information we collected in the table, one clear thing becomes evident. In our daily activities, we waste a lot of water, many times without thinking. If we pay a little attention, water wastage can be easily reduced. For example, keeping taps closed when not needed, getting leaking taps repaired, and reusing leftover water. Water recycling and water harvesting are also good ways to conserve water. Ajji explains to the children that our country has many rivers, lakes, and streams. But have you ever noticed plastic bags and wrappers floating on the water? When we throw household garbage or factory waste into water, fresh water sources become dirty. This is called water pollution. Drinking or using such polluted water is harmful for living beings. Ajji tells the children that not only garbage but many human activities are also responsible for water pollution. For example, releasing dirty water directly into rivers, excessive use of chemicals, and spreading waste near water bodies. If all of us make an effort together, we can prevent water from getting polluted. Bhumi and Surya think that they will not throw garbage into water and will also ask others not to do so. Ajji further explains that fresh water is limited. In many parts of India, there is a shortage of water. In some places, people have to walk long distances to bring drinking water. Water is not easily available to everyone. Therefore, we should use water properly and wisely. At the same time, we must keep water clean so that it remains safe for all living beings. Now Ajji explains about water harvesting. She says that collecting and storing rainwater is a good way of water conservation. This is called rainwater harvesting. In many homes, schools and societies, rainwater is collected in tanks so that it can be used later.
Ajji tells the children about step wells, which are called bawadi in some places and vav in others. These are special kinds of wells where rainwater and nearby flowing water get collected. The stone walls allow water to seep inside. In this way, people in earlier times protected themselves from water scarcity. Ajji tells the children to ask their teachers and parents about water harvesting methods used in their area. Bhumi and Surya also learn that World Water Day is celebrated every year on 22nd March to make people aware of the importance of water. Now the story moves ahead. Bhumi and Surya remember that they had earlier studied about the water cycle, in which the sun plays a very important role. They see Ajji drying raw mangoes and chilies in the sunlight. Ajji explains that because of the sun's heat, things dry up and we can use them later. One day, while drying chilies in the sun, Ajji tells the children that the sun is the main source of energy on Earth. Both plants and animals depend on the sun. The sun gives us both heat and light. We dry clothes in sunlight, cook food, and do many other activities using sunlight. Bhumi and Surya pass by a field and see a cow eating grass. They wonder where the cow gets its energy from. Ajji explains that grass needs sunlight to grow. The cow eats grass, so in an indirect way, it gets energy from the sun. In this way, energy flows from the sun to plants, then to animals, and finally to humans. Ajji tells them that in many homes, water is offered to the sun in the morning as a way of showing gratitude. Nowadays, we also see solar panels that produce electricity using the sun's energy. Food is cooked using solar cookers, and water is heated using solar water heaters. Truly, life on Earth is not possible without the sun. Now, Ajji takes Bhumi and Surya for a walk in the forest. In the forest, they see different kinds of herbs, shrubs, and trees. Ajji explains that forests are dense areas where many plants grow. They pick up fruits fallen on the ground, but do not pluck fruits from trees so that birds and animals can eat them. Ajji explains that forests provide many products and are home to many wild animals. Every living being depends on one another. But nowadays, forests are decreasing because of humans. Cutting trees destroys forests, and it takes a very long time for new forests to grow. Therefore, it is very important to protect forests. Ajji tells them about Van Mahotsav, which is celebrated in July. During this time, trees are planted and people are made aware of the importance of forests. In India, sacred groves have also been protected since ancient times. In the Chipko movement, people hugged trees to prevent them from being cut. While walking in the forest, Bhumi and Surya noticed many leaves lying on the ground and the soil is moist. Ajji explains that the roots of trees hold the soil together. Fallen leaves decay and make the soil fertile. This is a good example of recycling in nature. After returning home, Bhumi and Surya help Ajji in her garden. They gently dig the soil and break the clods. Ajji explains that soil has spaces for air, which helps roots grow well. They also see small stones, plant roots, and earthworms in the soil. Ajji explains that earthworms make the soil soft and healthy. In this way, Bhumi and Surya learn that water, the sun, forests, and soil are all precious gifts of nature. If we take care of them, nature will also take care of us. Now, Bhumi and Surya learn more carefully about soil. They collect a soil sample from a field that had just been plowed. First, they guess that there might be small insects or worms in the soil. When they observed the soil with their naked eyes, they see that it is brown in color and feels slightly soft. They also notice small particles and some pieces of dry leaves.
When Bhumi and Surya observe the same soil using a magnifying lens, they notice many more things. Very tiny soil organisms, fine particles, and different layers of soil become clearly visible. Then they understand that things which are not visible to the naked eye can be seen with the help of a lens. Now the children think about whether their guess and the actual observation were the same. They realize that some of their guesses were correct, but many new things were also seen. They also understand that soil collected from different places is different. Somewhere the soil is more sandy, somewhere more moist, and somewhere darker in color. With the naked eye, we can see fewer things, but with a magnifying lens, many small details become visible. Ajji explains that soil does not contain only sand. It also contains insects, worms, and many tiny organisms. When plants and animals die and slowly decay, they also become part of the soil. That is why the color and texture of soil differ from place to place. Now Ajji asks the children if they have ever thought about how soil is formed. She explains that soil is formed from the breaking down of rocks. The heat of the sun, water, and living organisms slowly break rocks into small pieces over thousands of years. Through this process, soil is formed. There are different types of soil. Some soils are good for growing plants, while some are used for making bricks. Many kinds of soil are found in forests. Soil is a very precious treasure of nature that supports biodiversity. After this, Ajji explains about rocks. We see many kinds of rocks around us. Rocks are used to build houses, buildings, temples, roads, and dams. Some rocks like slate are used to make roofs, and laterite is used like bricks. Granite, sandstone, and marble are also very important rocks. Humans have been using rocks for thousands of years to make tools such as hand axes and arrowheads. Aji further explains that rocks are made up of minerals. From minerals, metals like aluminium, gold, copper, and iron are obtained. These minerals are used to make aeroplanes, cars, jewelry, cosmetics, and electronic items. Even our simple mobile phones contain many minerals like gold, silver, and copper. Aji says that rocks play a very important role in our life. It takes thousands to millions of years for rocks to form. Therefore, we should use rocks and minerals wisely. Now Aji asks a new question about how rocks and minerals are transported from one place to another. Bhumi and Surya think and observe that vehicles are used for this purpose. Now the topic of fossil fuels comes up. Surya asks why different vehicles go to different filling stations. Aji explains that this is because different vehicles use different fuels. Some run on petrol and some on diesel. Aji asks the children to do an activity. They conduct a survey of vehicles in their surrounding area. They observe what types of vehicles are there and which type of fuel they use. Bhumi and Surya write this information in a table. Through this activity, they understand fuels and vehicles better. Now Bhumi and Surya learn about fuels. They understand that petrol and diesel are used the most in vehicles. Petrol, diesel and kerosene are all made from petroleum. Petroleum, natural gas and coal together are called fossil fuels. These fuels were formed a very long time ago when small plants and animals got buried deep inside the earth. Over millions of years, they changed into coal, petroleum and natural gas. Aji explains that natural gas is used for cooking food and generating electricity. When the same gas is used in vehicles, it is called CNG. CNG is a cleaner fuel than petrol and diesel because it produces less smoke. Coal is mostly used to generate electricity. Coal is found in many parts of India. Aji tells the children that in earlier times, people used coal, firewood, and cow dung cakes for cooking food. Nowadays, LPG and natural gas have replaced them because they cause less pollution and are easier to use. Aji also explains that fossil fuels are limited. If we keep using them excessively, one day they will get exhausted. When fossil fuels burn, smoke and carbon dioxide are released, which pollute the air. This is why air pollution is increasing in cities. Aji tells the children that we should save fossil fuels. For this, we can walk or use a bicycle for nearby places. Using public transport is also a good option. Bhumi and Surya think that they will share these ideas with their parents as well. Now, Aji explains about natural resources. Nature gives us many treasures, such as heat and light from the sun, water from rivers, and food from plants and animals. All these are called natural resources. Using these natural resources, we make many things like bulbs, furniture, solar panels, and bicycles. These are called human-made resources. Some natural resources get renewed over time, such as air, water, and forests. These are called renewable resources. Aji reminds the children that we should pick up only fallen fruits from trees so that fruits are left for animals and birds and new plants can grow. Nature renews these resources on its own, but we must use them wisely. Some resources do not get renewed quickly. Fossil fuels take millions of years to form. Minerals, rocks, coal, petroleum, and natural gas are also limited. These are called non-renewable resources. Once they are exhausted, they do not come back easily. The holidays come to an end, and Bhumi and Surya return to the city with their Amma. On the way, they notice that there are fewer trees in the city and the air smells of smoke. Amma explains that burning fossil fuels in vehicles pollutes the air. However, new options like electric vehicles are also coming up, which do not release smoke. Bhumi and Surya think that to reduce air pollution, we should use clean energy, plant more trees, and reduce the use of fossil fuels. Now, Aji's teachings reach Bhumi and Surya's home with them. They understand that natural resources are very important for our life. If we protect them, the future will also remain safe. Now Bhumi and Surya do another activity. They make a list of their daily activities and see which natural resource is used in each activity. For example, washing clothes requires water. Making clay toys needs soil. Collecting firewood involves forests. Making kites needs paper and thread, which come from plant-based resources. For breakfast, we get food, which comes from plants and animals. When Bhumi and Surya complete their list, they notice that they have written many natural resources. Then they compare their lists with their friends' lists. They realize that every day we use many natural resources like air, water, soil, and food, often without paying attention. Ajji explains that all these resources are obtained from nature. Using them, we make things we need and make our life easier. Therefore, it is our duty to conserve natural resources and use them properly. We should not waste resources. If we use resources wisely today, they will remain available for everyone in the future. This will also protect the environment and keep the earth healthy. In the end, Ajji shares a very beautiful thought. M.K. Gandhi said that the earth can satisfy everyone's needs, but not everyone's greed. Bhumi and Surya understand that if we reduce greed and take care of nature, the earth will always continue to provide us with everything we need. So children, today in this chapter, we learnt about natural resources and understood why we should conserve air, water, forests and energy. If you liked this video, do like it, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Jatin Academy for more easy and interesting learning. See you in the next video. Till then, keep learning and keep taking care of nature.